It is that time for my response to a tweet. And today's tweet says, I can't believe you stupid people don't see what the media is doing. You should be deported. I can't believe you stupid people don't see what the media is doing. You should be deported. Wow. And then the funny thing is, it's almost like stupid is as stupid does, I think they say. I don't know. But anyway, here's my response to this tweet. Have you ever, like, say for instance, you've been like the fly on the wall or something of that nature. You might be reading a book or something, or you might be in a classroom, or you might be at work or something, and you see somebody just being so nasty, towards another person because they had a different opinion. And they're just so nasty, and they're just so nasty. And they're vicious, and they talk about them behind their back. They talk about them in their face. They just have a difference of opinion. And they're just dogging them out. And then that person gets the opportunity to be a leader or something of that nature. They might get promoted or whatnot. And then all you can remember is how they was dogging them out based on having a difference of opinion. And then what makes you think that now that they've got another position, that they won't use that position against you? You'll be really concerned with that. You would hope that they would get better or something like this. But if that's what's in them and that's what they're practicing, most likely that's what they're going to perform. And so what this tweet is doing to me, it just shows that if we're so vicious, if you're so vicious towards me now because I just have an opposing point of view about your candidate, how do I know that you'll fight to protect my rights to have a dissenting point of view against the president? See, what you practice is what you perform. And right now, what the media has us practicing is beating down other Americans based on their opinion towards a candidate. Do you know the difference between an opinion and dissent in politics? It's the difference between the person being a candidate or being the president. See, our Constitution is made strong because we're allowed to have a dissenting point of view against the president. We, the people, are made strong when we protect that for one another. See, not only you want the protection for your dissenting point of view for you, but we, the people, are stronger when we protect that for others. And so far, what we've been practicing, and it's not the media's fault. They have a part to play in it. But it's frustration's fault. Because what we're practicing is being so vicious towards each other, and we have an opposing point of view to a candidate. So what? I don't agree with what Ted Cruz say. I don't agree with Donald Trump said. So what? You don't agree with Ben Carson said, this and that. Do we have to be so vicious towards each other? We're calling for the hurting and the maiming and the disrupting of how a person makes money for their family because they have an opposing point of view. So what are you going to call for when your guy wins or your girl wins? Are you going to ask for the full weight of the government to come down on somebody who has a dissenting point of view? See, but what you practice is what you perform. We're not practicing civility through this whole campaign process. We're calling Americans out of their name. We're asking for hurtful things and harmful things to come to other Americans because they have a different opinion. They don't agree with a person's tax proposal. And you're that vicious, and it's just a proposal. A proposal will have you bearing arms using your Second Amendment right to go take somebody's First Amendment right over a proposal. Because that's all the candidates can do. All they can do is propose something. They can't make nothing happen. But since it happens to match up to what you feel, that becomes law to you. so since it becomes law to you, that makes an opposing point of view lawless, to where you have to enact your law on them. So what happens when your candidate wins? How are you going to advocate for your candidate to treat people's dissent? Because we're supposed to dissent against the president. That's the checks and balances that the forefathers and our founders put into the Constitution. That's that check and balance, is the American people's right to dissent. But now we got American people not protecting other people's right to have a different opinion. How can I trust you? Or are you going to ask for an executive order to take away that right so that your guy can always be right? How far are you willing to go with this? Because it looks like you're willing to go pretty far right now, and they're just candidates. They're just candidates. We can only have one winner. And that winner needs to be the American people at all costs. And this is what we need to project into our politics, that we, the people, must be the winners here, not one candidate. Because he or she can say anything they want on this campaign trail. And when it comes down to it, haven't you experienced the last 8 years of somebody saying everything that needs to be said on the campaign trail? And when it came time to do it, they used the full weight of the government to go against their enemies. And who got screwed in the end? We the people. And now we have another election where there are people advocating for the same thing to happen again. How do you know you're advocating for it? Look at how you're treating people on your Twitter when they have a different point of view. Look at how you treat people on your Facebook posts when they have an opposing point of view. These are Americans, people. You're deeming them un-American because they don't subscribe to your opinion? Come on, people. We, the people, have to be the winners. The hell with the candidates. Because when they do get the privilege to be in that office, more power requires more responsibility. And so if they get the privilege to serve us in that office, the only way we're going to be able to hold their feet to the fire to make sure they serve us is if we right now start practicing protecting people's different opinion. Because the next level is people's right to have a dissenting point of view. And that president, he or she, has to know that the American people are just not buying everything you're saying hook, line, and sinker like this last 7-8 years. We're not just buying that the other side is just the enemy because you say so. We can't make the other side the enemy because we say so. We need to make them the enemy of America because of how they play so. Liberals are Americans too, but liberalism is an enemy to conservatism. Not the liberal, it's the spirit. We're not fighting against flesh and blood, but we're fighting against powers and principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. It's not the person. But right now we're practicing something that's very, very vicious, people. It's very, very vicious. And we're feeling like this is the right thing to do because we got a crowd of people saying, yeah. Saying yeah to what? Beating another American down. Taking the livelihood of another American. And for what? Because they have a different opinion to the guy or the girl that you think is going to save this country. The only thing wrong with that is that we, the people, and our rights to dissent have a different opinion. I challenge you. Why don't you go listen to some different opinions instead of trying to hang out in the place where you hear the same opinion that happens to match up with yours? Steel sharpens steel. Iron sharpens iron. And you can learn something from somebody else's opinion. You can even start practicing the art of disagreeing without being disagreeable. Hey, people, we the people are in trouble. And if you think that it's cool to be vicious over an opinion, it's safe to say that you'll think that your candidate should be vicious if somebody has a dissenting point of view. And he can sic the IRS, the EPA, or any state government that he or she is in control of to suppress that dissenting point of view. Hey, I'm Phil Williams, and that's my response to this tweet on the Phil Williams Show.